A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome to Survival of No Limits again. Behind me you can see what I intend to use as my next background. But at this point in time, I should probably go ahead and explain a few things before I continue onwards with what I'm going to talk about for today. Today's November 20th, 2021, and this is honestly going to be my last ever episode of Survival of No Limits. And I'm not just talking about the season, but possibly the entire series overall that I had planned. I was supposed to have 4 seasons for this thing at first, but now I pretty much realize it's going to be really tough going forward. A lot of things I probably would have talked about twice by this point in this first season, and a lot of other things might be considered. So at this point, it's safe to say I probably have met my end with this whole entire thing. With well over 130 episodes put together, getting close to 140. But right now, the most important thing here is to just simply point out that this is going to be the last ever episode of the series. Right here. And let's also not forget, I don't really have as much of a creative input on this as much as I did back then. So this whole entire year of 2021 I practically spent with this series overall, and I feel like I haven't really gotten much out of it. So at this point in time, it's safe for me to say that I will have to pretty much cancel the series going forward. So starting on November 21st, this series will pretty much be no more. Not just the season, but also what goes on from here on out. So, this background's the last you'll probably see of this entirely. So let's just go ahead and make this our last episode. And let's make it as big as possible. Because I do actually have one good idea that I might be able to register for the remainder of this whole entire season/series. And of all things that I've had to consider to talk about based on survival and anything else related to that, it would probably have to be, well, this year. This is something that I've actually been wanting to talk about for a while. As part of this series and as part of a lot of other things that I've had on my channel in recent years. So at this point in time, let's just go ahead and get it over with. This year alone has been the worst possible time in existence. And I could never make this stuff up. Nada. Just at all. The year 2021, being the thing that came after 2020, shows us that we can never trust the future and anything that it brings us. And the only thing that I could potentially find a way out of would be the date of January 1st, 2022. The year after this. If there would ever be a thing to where we could just skip to January 1st, 2022, then I would gladly take it in a heartbeat. Or even better, a femtosecond. I don't necessarily know how anybody out there can go on living saying that this is a good year and all that. Ho ho. Because it's untrue. Beyond untrue. Last year was way too good to ignore. And there's a lot of proof behind it. I will actually talk a lot about what 2020 basically brought me and a lot of other people in life. It gave me a lot of opportunity. It allowed me to step outside of my comfort zone, and it also brought a lot of change to my life that I normally wouldn't have expected, but this was a change. A change that I really embrace now with dignity and with solemn humility all the way through. But this year, we never even tried to keep that change. The change that was good. Because we're now onto the bad change. Of all changes that we had to experience, we just never seem to stop at any sort of possibility that we could indefinitely have to try to get through something as bad as something like this. But that's just what mindsets are, what they represent, how they function, and lots more. So let it be known at this point that this is the last subject that I'll ever possibly talk about. If you're wanting proof on this whole entire thing, well, you know what? I will actually talk about this at a much more grandeur level with a film project of mine, which I basically just turned into a vlog for some odd reason, called This is the Worst Year of My Life. So, do be sure to check out for that tonight, November 20th, 2021. But until then, I'm Jay Nowak, and this has been Survival of No Limits. No matter what happens, no matter what kind of stuff we end up in, no matter how on earth do we manage to live through these things, we'll always find a way to survive. No doubt about it. Whether you want to survive or to live, as I do my best to on a daily basis, especially with something this bad, circulating our minds and our lives all together, forcing us to live within it until we all die. But at least I was able to try something different with the channel. Almost this whole entire year I've basically spent with this. And I'm more than glad about where I've managed to go with it. At least for the time period that it's been around in. Because now, well, I will certainly have to focus on whatever other content I will have pretty soon. Face Camp Specials Insurgents Part 5, another Gaming with Kaiju Force Neo related tangent, will be starting pretty shortly. Alongside many other things that we'll also have planned throughout the rest of this year, if you can even call it that. Because, well, I don't know really where else to go with this, so I'll just go ahead and leave it at this. If you want to see more go down on my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.